Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. Dancehall, as a distinct and crystallized subgenre of reggae, came into being at the start of the 1970s, led by icons like Uroy the Originator, Dennis Al Capone, and Iroy. That generation of pioneers captivated listeners and kept the dance floors packed with their slick and crisp toasting, and set the stage for a second wave of aspiring DJs to take dancehall to the next level. These young guns who emerged through the vibrant sound system scene include the amazing Ranking Joe, Prince Jazzbo, and the subject of today's video in the iconic and amazing Dillinger. Even from among that elite field of gifted toasters who ruled that epoch, no other DJ could match the witty lyrics, unforgettable voice, and outrageous sense of humor of the wacky Kingston native. Even till date, he's still high up there with the most innovative and funniest dancehall artist that we've ever seen. Blessed with incredible range, he would make you dance until your legs ached in one track, have you reflecting deeply in the next, and laughing your head off in another. Dillinger burst into the limelight in the mid-1970s, becoming one of the few dancehall DJs to not only lock down the Jamaican scene, but also achieve incredible popularity on an international level in those times, paving the way for the likes of Yellowman and Barrington Levy to take the world by storm a few years later. But as the 80s unfolded, Dillinger sort of faded into the background and failed to match his explosive start of the previous decade. Let's take a look at the story of the great Dillinger. He was born Lester Bullock in Kingston, Jamaica on the 25th of June 1953. Being a Kingston native, he grew up in what was the epicenter of the sound system circuit and would idolize pioneer DJs like King Stitz and Count Machuki. By the time he got into his teens, he was among the multitude of youth who followed and hung around local sound systems looking for the slightest chance to become part of those outfits. He got his foot in the door as a roadie with the El Paso sound system in 1970, helping to load speakers and equipment for that outfit. El Paso at the time had the great Dennis Al Capone as its lead DJ, and it was he who would give young Lester the chance to get on the microphone every now and then. And this helped him boost his confidence and skills enough for him to get a regular gig at a different sound system called Prince Jackie. By 1972, Dennis Al Capone had left El Paso, and young Lester was hired to take his place. In a bid to leverage on Dennis Al Capone's popularity, he would adopt the stage name of Dennis Al Capone Jr. However, it was legendary producer Lee Scratch Perry that suggested a different moniker. Dennis Al Capone's stage name had come from the infamous gangster Al Capone, so Perry suggested that Lester adopt the moniker of another infamous American gangster named John Dillinger. Sporting a toasting style that was inspired by his heroes like Uroy, Big Youth, and Dennis Al Capone, he would quickly amass a massive fan base on the sound system scene. And in 1973, Lee Scratch Perry would take the young DJ into his Black Ark studios and recorded a couple of songs, starting with the track Dub Organizer, which barely made a ripple on the airwaves. But in 1974, he would achieve a breakthrough with the song Freshly, a Rastafarian tribute to Ital Food, which was produced by Yabi U. The song became a hit, and Dillinger was suddenly in high demand by producers. By 1975, he had cut several awesome singles for ace producers like Coxsone Dodd, Nini the Observer, Augustus Pablo, and Count Ossie, among many others. But it was Coxsone Dodd who took Dillinger into the studio to record his debut album, Ready Natty Dready, a 10-track compilation of brilliant tracks featuring Dillinger's incredible vocals riding classic rhythms from Studio One's incredible archives. A truly solid effort that is one of the bona fide great foundational dancehall albums. But its success would be dwarfed by its next album, CB200, which most die-hard Dillinger fans rate as his best, and was responsible for launching the DJ into international prominence. Following in the footsteps of Big Youth, whose first big hit, X90 Skank, was a tribute to his favorite bike, Dillinger's CB200 was a tribute after the immensely popular Honda CB200. And for this album, Dillinger would record at the legendary Channel 1 studios, owned by the Hookim brothers. It was then the leading recording studio in Jamaica, endowed with the newest and cutting-edge equipment, all crowned by arguably the best studio backing band on the island in the Revolutionaries, a band which was comprised of the likes of Sly and Robbie, Earl Wayalindo, and Mikey Chung. CB200 was simply loaded with hits, from the title track itself to Plantation Heights and the track Cocaine in My Brain, which would become a smash hit and is Dillinger's biggest song till date. It's a comical masterpiece that details the conversation between two cokeheads named Jim and John, Over the years, some fans have speculated over whether the song was a critique of the tourists in Jamaica who often indulged in drugs in the 70s, or Dillinger poking fun at his own struggles with substance abuse. The album was a particularly big hit in the UK, and when he went on his first tour of that country, he was astonished at the massive and excited audiences that flocked to his shows, and also the fact that he was literally worshipped and adopted by the punk movement. His next album, Bionic Dread, was also released in 1976 and was also a big success and massive critical hit, even though nowhere near the level of CB200. His next 3 albums, in top-ranking Dillinger, Talking Blues, and Superstar, were all solid efforts, but still didn't make international waves like CB200. He would seek to replicate the success of Cocaine in My Brain with the album titled Marijuana in My Brain, and that move caused his international profile to skyrocket once again, as the title track would go up to number 1 in the Netherlands. He was snapped up by A&M Records on the strength of that work, but his next album, Badder Than Them, would feature a departure from his normal and traditional analog sound and live band feel to a more electronic flavor, which his fans didn't really appreciate, and that album would flop. But it hardly affected his overall popularity, as he put in a fantastic show in that same year in the Live at the Music Machine concerts, and from that point he would release albums consistently, but they hardly got noticed outside of Jamaica, and he would once again attempt to milk the success of CB200 with the album titled Cocaine, which was released in 1984. It still didn't make any waves, so after releasing the album Tribal War in 1986, which also didn't sell, he gracefully retired from recording and did a little work producing other artists. It's been rumored that substance abuse just might have had an effect on his career, but these stories have never been substantiated. However, he was lured out of retirement by legendary producer Bonnie Lee to record the album, which was ironically titled Say No to Drugs, in 1993, and it was soon followed by the album 3-Piece Suit in the same year. These 2 albums sparked renewed interest in Dillinger, and he was suddenly in high demand again for concerts in the US, Europe, and Asia. He was suddenly busy again and resumed touring and recording new material into the new millennium, and would release his last album, Reparation Now, in 2014 under his own label, Scandal Bag Records. Dillinger is still active on the touring circuit, doing his thing at the highest level, delivering simply wicked performances reminiscent of his outstanding debut, albeit not on the same level as he might have done 4 decades ago. It's not really certain why he dropped out of sight for a while, but I suspect that pressure to replicate the immense brilliance and success of CB200 might have affected his natural growth and progression as an artist. But all the same, his place is secure as one of the pioneers and all-time greats in the history of dancehall. So there you have it. Thank you for watching the video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, God bless.